The realization that a total stranger can have a life as complex and as rich as your own. It is strange to think that everyone you see around you on a daily basis was once a child. Before that, a fetus. That they've all grown up, gone to school, worked, gotten on these trains. Living a life that's as sprawling as this tube map, with all the stops and changes along the way.
Look around you. Everyone you see was once a fetus in a womb, then a baby, a child, an adult. Living a tangled web of emotions and experiences and mistakes. My life is a play. Every morning when I wake up, I take center stage and the spotlight is on me. Other characters will flit in and out of the wings, and a mysterious audience watches on. Some days my life is a soliloquy. No other characters at all, save for my 7 dogs. Those are my favourite days. I am never lonely. Other days my interactions are purely screen-based, but even then you can wonder who those typed words are coming from. It is strange what people may think of you based on appearance or just a few words. I once had a woman with whom I'd only ever had email contact assume that I had curly hair. Based on what? A written exchange. My hair is not curly. Wavy, yes, but not curly. The two are very different.
Who are these extras in the cast of my life? Me, the main character, with some others thrown in. My supporting cast and recurring characters, and then the rest. They're the main characters in their own story. I wonder how many times I've been an extra in their lives. How many photos have I appeared in? There's so many other lives in the world where I've just passed by, sat sipping coffee or admiring the view in the background to their life. A snapshot of my own life in their memories. I'm always looking up when I'm walking about. I find seeing lighted windows at night so enchanting. Silhouettes moving around living spaces, going about their evenings. Are their lives any better or worse than mine?
This man who's just got on. I am making the sweeping assumption he is a man, but for the sake of my pondering, he is. Looks unremarkable, yet aesthetically pleasing. Probably has a regular job in a shop or bar or similar. Simple, casual clothes, glasses, sitting back, relaxed in the seat, looking vaguely at the advertisements above me, following those unwritten rules, don't make eye contact. But he could be thinking about anything.
This woman opposite me. At least I'm going on how she presents. Her eyes are darting around, trying to find a place to settle to avoid eye contact. Fixing mine on these overhead advertisements. She looks petite, nice boots, quite ordinary looking. So ordinary, in fact. I wonder what amazing and peculiar experiences she's had. Who does she know? Perhaps she spends all her time in the company of famous actors. Is she an orphan? It always seems strange to this notion to refer to an adult as an orphan. What's her family like? Does she have one? Maybe she's had an awful childhood. She was locked in the shed at the end of the garden, fed scraps with only spiders for company. Or maybe she's had a happy life, full of everything she could have dreamed of, leading her to a life of luxury.
What did he do today? Has he been working or studying? His life might be full of excitement and hope. He may be living in fear, terrified of a crazed admirer or a rabid-looking squirrel that frequents his garden. How many times did he look upwards? I bet he looks upwards. Not enough people do, but it is amazing what you may see. So many other extras going about acting in their own place, cooking, watching TV, crying, having seizures.
There's no wedding ring. Maybe she had a divorce. Or she's widowed. Or perhaps just single. No, I can't think of her as being ordinary. Well, no one is really. Maybe she had a partner. Maybe she killed them. A meticulously crafted operation carried out over months, sourcing the perfect weapon. Perhaps she used one of those professional grade sushi knives for a fine cut, chopping up the body amongst the organised chaos of the rest of her house. Goodness sake.
Some people have no respect.
Do people have to be so loud? Or she dealt a swift blow to the skull with a fire extinguisher. Or poison. That is said to be a woman's weapon. Something that can work its way outside of the body, untraceable.
I have no idea if this man is the quiet type, but I like the thought that he is. Very neat, makes his bed every day. A place for everything and everything in its place. What if he has hidden kinks or perversions? They say it is often the quiet ones. For all I know, he could dress in a bear costume or tie lifelike dolls to chairs in order to sate his carnal desires. Should you be one of those people unfortunate to succumb to such a thing, I myself have never had such a proclivity. So bizarre and such a distraction. As perplexing as I find the notion, it is fascinating from an anthropological point of view. He could be a killer, I suppose. That is a far more interesting thought. And they are supposed to be quiet too. Aloof, distant, living inside their own head, not many close friends or family, tend to live alone, seen as the weird one in the neighbourhood, pleasant enough but secretive. Wait, I'm describing myself. Is that how people see me? I, the very stereotype of a serial killer, and proud of it.
Such slender hands. Crafty hands. The kind of nimble-looking fingers that seem as if they could so deftly and delicately remove skin, make it look sublime, tantalizing. I once read some statistic, goodness knows whether it's a real one or not. The average person in the US will cross paths with 36 murderers in their lifetime. I wonder what statistic is over here. Is she one of them? How many have I counted already? Other people who've read the same statistic, they might think the same about me. Well, killers are supposed to be charming, aren't they? I guess you'd have to lure people in who you trust. I'd like to think of myself as charming, but what if that's making people suspicious of me?
Anyway, back to the man. I could definitely imagine him in a bear costume, but in an innocent, cosy way. Perhaps he'll wear it whilst watching television or whilst listening to Radio 4. He'll indulge in some decadent snack and eventually make his way to his perfectly made bed. I wonder what his worst day has been. Is he grieving? A beloved pet may have died. Is he a cat person or a dog person? I hope he's a dog person. Perhaps he's an only child now because he watched a sibling die. Perhaps a grandparent with Alzheimer's he watches fade away and die bit by bit each day. An endless cycle of grief, waiting for the moment they are released.
No, I'm definitely not the killing type. I've had a fairly comfortable and uneventful life. The worst thing to happen has been my brother's death 16 years ago. His memorial is still clear in my mind. From then on, all I can think about is how I want my funeral to be. What music to have mostly. Yeah. One day I will cease to exist, and yet the world will carry on without me. Someone will remember me for the last time before I'm forgotten for good. If I'm in the background of a photo, maybe someone in the future will wonder who I am and if I'm still alive or what was I like. Someone might be doing that with my brother right now. My life has grown around grief. Grief. We all have that in common. We are all connected in some way.
You're from Colchester, yeah? What, you think I'm bothered? It's our difference, but you don't try to fuck me up.
Thank goodness.
Finally.
Or he could be dying. Everyone slowly is, of course, but people don't think about it. Too many people don't have funeral plans. I bet this man doesn't. He looks too young to have considered such a thing, where his mind's planned meticulously. He could have a heart condition, or a kidney cyst about to burst. He may or may not know. He could have a terminal diagnosis, and is just trying to live one day at a time. Cancers are constantly developing in the body after all. The only thing that stops them getting out of control is your immune system killing off the malignant cells. It's not just that you don't know someone's story, but you never know whether you, a random bystander, are witnessing the moment before their life changes forever, or their last moments. He could be killed the moment he leaves the station. One day none of us will be around to even be remembered. It'll be like we never existed. I'm always tempted to lean over and tell people that they're going to die, but past experience has led me to believe that this is not acceptable.
Anyway, this woman, what's her best day been? It might have been when she got a dream job, or good test results from a doctor, or maybe when she escaped some awful situation, getting much needed freedom back. It can't be that hard to make an announcement,
You
can
never
it?
make these things out at the best of times.
The next station is Harrow on the Hill. Change for Metropolitan Line services to Uxbridge and National Rail services.
I see my own reflection in the darkness of the window right before I look at
I
him.
see my own reflection in the darkness of the window, right before I look at her.
And just for a moment,
Just for a moment.
our eyes meet.
Fleeting moment of
A
connection.
fleeting moment of acknowledgement. It's like he was suddenly centre stage with me in my play. Just us. Him and me on an imaginary platform. Silent, starring roles, yet unnoticed by the audience. They aren't paying attention because they are absorbed in their own productions. Our gaze breaks and I am alone on stage again, acting in my own glittering show. As I am the main star, I have the big monologues. Some characters have huge paragraphs, some a few lines, and some are never really noticed. Some always wait in the wings. Some are the technical team, instrumental in making your life happen, but no real interactions other than pleasantries. Some people never even enter a theatre. There could even be understudies, people desperate to be you, slowly taking over your mind and your life because theirs is unbearable and yours seems better by their observations, breaking you slowly until you can't take anymore. The grass is always greener.
Our mutual glance ends, and I think, what if this was a bad day for her? That's a scary thing about bringing someone else into your story. Them being a mere guest star in your tale. You may be being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Two stories colliding. What is a perfectly average day in your life could be an awful one in someone else's life, or vice versa. You never know what someone's breaking point is. And an innocent interaction could end in disaster. You look at someone in a way that they don't like. Bump into them. You just don't realise they were there. But to them, it is a slight. The final straw. Up until that point, they were hurt, they'd been bereaved, felt invisible, abused. Snap! They mutter something under their breath, or tut, or they might threaten you, or attack you, or even kill you, drag you off, cut you up, hide your body. All of a sudden, they've inadvertently become a character in the story of your siblings, your parents, your friends.
Four stops to go.
All because you don't know someone's story and they don't know yours.
And what about those extreme introverts like me? The ones who hide behind their keyboards, nonsensically tapping away. Behind each carefully crafted post is a person and a story. Then there are ones writing their own plays without external input. What happens to them? To write a good story, you have to be well read, and that includes having a curiosity about things crafted by others. Words can be powerful. You can bring someone into your story with the right words and change theirs. You can also use the wrong words and potentially end their story. What the catalyst is for someone's point of no return is unbeknownst to you if they aren't a regular guest star.
Think of those who come into your life for just a brief period. They may not have changed your life, but they altered your day. Maybe for the worse, maybe for the better. They could have influenced the decision. Because you don't know them, and for all you know, they could have been a figment of your imagination. A creature from another plane sent to give you a message. But all you know is how it's affected you. And as far as you're concerned, this being has no name or story. They existed just for you in that moment.
When I was younger, and to an extent now, I remember the all-encompassing feeling of Sonder when watching cars on the motorway in the distance. All those drivers and passengers going about their lives, driving home, to work, to see family.
Oh, 3 stops now.
None of them even contemplating that I, a small child at the time, was watching captivated from the bedroom window.
And I recall that one time when I was about 7. I was with my parents and brother on the ferry. I remember seeing this girl, she was with her parents. I guess on the other side. She had one of those gymnastic ribbons. She was twirling in the air and laughing. She seemed so carefree and in her own world. That was 20 years ago now. I wonder where she is now, or if she's still alive. I'm not sure why that sticks in my mind. I didn't think at the time that that would even become a memory. In another few years' time, I remember this moment. Sitting on this train opposite this awkward-looking woman, wondering about her and remembering that girl.
I wonder what this man thinks of me, if anything.
I wonder what this woman thinks of me, if anything.
What if he is somehow a mind reader?
What if she can hear thoughts? She's wondering what I'm thinking about her. Hello?
Hello? Are you thinking about me?
Can you hear my thoughts?
He's back to staring at the adverts. Probably just as well. And generally just blend into the background of everything, going unnoticed by everyone. A useful skill, really. Not that I've a reason to hide. The worst thing I've probably done in my life is leave a bar without paying. Accidentally, of course. The service was too slow. Then again, there was that boy I hit with my car about 16 years ago. It was on a secluded coastal road, and there were no witnesses, so I threw the body over a cliff, and it was all fine.
No response. Well, I guess she can't. Or maybe you're pretending. No, her eyes are still just looking around. Bet she is thinking about me though. Consider myself to be a little quirky, but otherwise a jovial sort with not too much to hide. Well, sure, I did watch someone's house burn down as a child, but it's not like I started the fire. I only started the fire once a few years later, just to see what it felt like. I have to say, it wasn't quite the adrenaline rush I'd hoped for, but I wouldn't rule it out doing it again.
It's nearly my stop.
It's nearly my stop.
It's a strange concept. Sonder. Beautiful, vast, melancholic all at once. It is unlikely I will think of this man again after this train journey. We may have myriad things in common. I'll make my way home, sit at my craft desk, and continue on a taxidermy project. I'm working on a display of anthropomorphic mice, the kind usually meant as food for reptiles. The most satisfying part is to pluck out their eyes with delicate tweezers and replace them with tiny, shiny beads.
It's a somber concept, Sonder. Overwhelming, depressing and comforting all at the same time. When I get off, I'm probably not going to think of this woman again. We may have loads in common, and we just don't realise. Little does she know that when I get home tonight, I'll remove these boring casual clothes, put on Radio 4, wrap myself up in a bear suit, take out from the freezer some mice, usually meant as food for reptiles, and suck and nibble on them like a lollipop. Delicious.
Mind the gap between the train and the platform.
This is Chesham, where this train terminates. Please take your belongings with you when you leave the train. All change.
I wonder if I'll see him again.
Wonder if I'll see her again.